All right, folks, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a topic that's become impossible to ignore: the rise of raging, ideologically driven individuals infiltrating every corner of our professional world. Now, once upon a time, you might have encountered this kind of unhinged behavior from a barista foaming at the mouth over your politics while pouring your latte, or maybe an artist screaming about their worldview on social media. But now, these folks have their tentacles in every industry. Yes, even the ones where you'd expect professionalism and impartiality to reign supreme. And the consequences are getting uglier by the day. Now, not too long ago, you could assume certain professions were safe from this kind of divisive, hateful rhetoric. Doctors, for instance, were seen as pillars of compassion, bound by oaths to prioritize human lives over personal biases. But that illusion was shattered recently with a shocking case out of Houston, Texas. Dr. Christina B. Probst, a pediatrician, someone entrusted with the care of children, took to social media to spew venom at victims of the devastating Texas floods. In a now-deleted Facebook post, she wrote, and I quote, "May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts." So let that sink in. This wasn't just a political jab. This was a doctor gloating over the deaths of people she assumed were Trump supporters. And here's the gut punch. Many of the victims were children. At least 28 kids lost their lives in those floods, with others still missing from places like Camp Mystic, an all-girls summer camp. You'd think a pediatrician, of all people, would rise above petty politics, especially in the face of tragedy. But instead, Dr. Probst chose to weaponize her platform to wish harm on entire communities based on how she thought they voted. This wasn't just a lapse in judgment. It was a betrayal of the trust we place in medical professionals. Now, thankfully, her employer, Bluefish Pediatrics, acted swiftly, first suspending her and then firing her outright. Their statement was clear. Quote, "We do not support or condone any statement that politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or fails to uphold compassion for every child and family, regardless of background or beliefs." And good for them, but the damage was done. But let's zoom out. This isn't just about one rogue doctor. This is a symptom of a much bigger problem. We're seeing this kind of ideological extremism creep into every profession: lawyers, teachers, engineers, corporate executives, you name it. People who once kept their political rage confined to their home are now bringing it into their workplaces, their classrooms, their clinics. And it's not just annoying, it's dangerous. When a pediatrician can't separate her hatred for a political group from her duty to care for all patients, what does that say about the state of our institutions? I get it. Politics is heated. People have strong opinions, and that's nothing new. But there's a line between having a viewpoint and letting it consume you to the point where you're cheering for the suffering of others, especially kids. This kind of rage used to be fringe, something you'd see from a self-proclaimed activist or a keyboard warrior with a paintbrush. Now it's mainstream, and it's infiltrating places where it has no business being. When professionals, people we rely on to uphold standards of objectivity and care, start sounding like internet trolls, well, we've got a problem. The Texas pediatrician case is a wake-up call. It's not just about one person losing their job. It's about what happens when we let ideological fanaticism run unchecked. If a doctor can't be trusted to value all human lives equally, how can we trust them to do their job? And this goes beyond medicine. Imagine a teacher who refuses to fairly educate students with differing views, or a lawyer who prioritizes politics over justice. Now, these aren't hypotheticals. They're happening. And the common thread, a refusal to see people as individuals, not just avatars of a political tribe. But here's the good news. Not everyone's buying into this divisiveness. In the wake of the Texas floods, we've seen communities come together, regardless of how they vote, to help each other rebuild. Now, that's the kind of humanity we need more of. And when people like Dr. Probst cross the line, the swift backlash and consequences show that there's still a standard of decency we can hold people to. So what's the takeaway? We can't let rage-fueled ideologues hijack our professions. Whether it's a doctor, a teacher, or a CEO, we need people who put their duty first, not their politics. Call it out when you see it, hold people accountable, and let's demand better. Because if we don't, the next viral post might not just cost someone their job. It could cost lives. So, in any case, that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.